The concept of creating a church calendar, also referred to as a liturgical calendar, grew over the early centuries of the Christian faith. Churches that have a liturgical approach to the faith are closely tied to this idea of a church calendar for the year, while many other churches, mostly those that grew out of the more informal side of the Protestant Reformation, only focus on Christmas and Easter. This video will help give an overview of what liturgical churches mean when they follow the church calendar. The first decision made by the early church was to solidify the practice of worshiping together on Sundays. With respect to Sunday worship, the term Lord's Day, signifying the triumph of Christ in his resurrection and the beginning of a new creation, was in use by the end of the first century. We're used to having our calendar year begin on January 1st, but the official church calendar begins with the season of Advent, a term from the Latin that means coming. This is a season that encompasses 4 weeks of preparation for the coming of Christ. First, we await Christ's second coming, or Advent, to judge the living and the dead. But the main focus is to celebrate his first coming, or Advent, at the Incarnation on Christmas Day. Christmas is the second season in the church calendar, and unlike the typical Christmas for most, which is only 1 day, the church celebrates Christ's birth for 12 days. Every January 6th, the calendar shifts to the celebration of the Epiphany. It extends to the presentation of Christ in the Jerusalem temple on February 2nd. This season commemorates the revelation of Christ to the Gentiles in fulfillment of prophecy, as exemplified in the visitation of the Magi. Just as the Christmas cycle begins with a season of preparation, so the Easter cycle begins with Lent, a 40-day period of fasting and penitence, beginning with Ash Wednesday. The last week of Lent is one of special devotion in remembrance of the Lord's Passion. It's referred to as Holy Week, beginning with Palm Sunday's commemoration of Jesus' triumphal entry into Jerusalem. Holy Week includes the following: Maundy Thursday, which commemorates the institution of the Eucharist at the Last Supper and Christ's washing of the disciples' feet. That's followed by Good Friday, a commemoration of the crucifixion. The next day is called Holy Saturday, when we remember Christ's time in the tomb. Holy Week culminates on Easter Sunday, which celebrates the triumphal resurrection of Christ from the dead. The Easter season lasts for 50 days, first for 40 days until the remembrance of Christ's ascension to the Father's right hand, and then for 10 more days until the commemoration of the Holy Spirit's descent at Pentecost. The Sunday after Pentecost is called Trinity Sunday, focusing on the triune nature of God. Christ the King Sunday is the Sunday right before Advent that proclaims Christ's Lordship. The time between Trinity Sunday and Christ the King Sunday is called the season after Pentecost. It's also referred to as ordinary or numbered time. This remainder of the liturgical year is the time in which the church is to live out its calling in the world, fulfilling the mission of God. Instructed in the school of sacred time, Christians go forth to love and serve this broken world by proclaiming the gospel message. So, to summarize, the church calendar begins with Advent, 4 weeks of preparation for the birth of Christ. Christmas begins on December 25th and extends for 12 days. January 6th, the season of Epiphany begins, which commemorates the revelation of Christ to the Gentiles, as shown in the visitation of the Magi. This is followed by Lent, a 40-day period of fasting and penitence beginning with Ash Wednesday. And the last week of Lent is referred to as Holy Week, beginning with Palm Sunday. Holy Week includes the following: Maundy Thursday, Good Friday, Holy Saturday, and then culminates with Easter, a season that lasts for 50 days, ending with the day of Pentecost, when the Holy Spirit descended on the early believers. The season after Pentecost is ordinary time focused on serving the world through the good news of the gospel. It lasts until Advent begins once again. I hope this overview helps to bring understanding to the term church calendar. Each season has a special purpose in helping us to grasp more fully what the Lord has done for us.